There used to be
Like eight.
yeah, 8 or 10 we had, and we had to kick a lot of them out.
They were weak.
So it's pretty much just us.
They were pseudo Trekkies. You know,
They weren't really into it. They were mostly, like I said, they were mostly the next generation, and that's
They
cool.
thought they'd get women being in the club, and
That wasn't what it was about, because we don't allow girls in.
they were trying to use the club as like a vehicle, their
Like-
own thing to be cool.
I remember this
I
one
mean,
guy brought in this girl, and he was like, "Yeah, she's gonna be Nurse Chapel." We were like, "Well, we don't really do Nurse
No.
Chapel things." And so she like sat around, and she didn't even know who Nurse Chapel was.
Yeah, and he was just trying to bring her along, you know,
And
because
the whole thing turned into like, "Yeah, I'm Bones, get it? I'm gonna bone her." And I was like, "Man, come on."
it's not a sex club.
You
It's
just
the
ruined
Star
it.
Trek club.
Just kind of ruined it.
A lot of guys are just faking just so they could get the shirt, you know.
Yeah. They all wanted the yellow shirt. And every week it became this big thing. No, I'm Kirk. No, I'm Kirk. No, I'm Kirk. You know, it's like every single week we're like, come on, you can't.
Everyone
cannot
can't
be
be Kirk. It's not the Kirk club, you know. It's Star Trek. It's everyone.
So now it's pretty much just us. And one week I'm Kirk, and the other week he's Kirk. And if you're not Kirk, you're pretty much everybody else.
I used a vinyl here, which is I think mostly used on car seats, and it does not breathe at all. And I didn't realize this while making. I just wanted some type of material that looked like armor that we could easily sew or put together and stuff. But it ended up being this thing. I'm losing like 5 pounds every half hour, it seems like.
It weighs about a good 40, 50 pounds, and I'm sweating up a storm under this headpiece. And you wouldn't believe what I've got underneath absorbing the sweat. Sanitary napkins. See if you keep that, but tell the other people it works. It does a wonderful job.
Our club is based upon the ideas of Gene Roddenberry, and we role play according to how you see it in the movies, on the TV, and like in Star Trek, the original series, Next Generation, and Deep Space Nine. What we mean by military organization is sort of like if you're in the Navy, the ranks and all that sort of corresponds with the Navy ranks, which is what Star Trek's sort of about. And that's where they get the ship names from too. It's in the navies.
It's kind of a private thing.
Yeah, I don't.
Really.
See, that's another problem with the other guys who were in the club is they thought it was a big funny gag.
Like
They didn't-
Halloween.
Yeah, they didn't take the club seriously. Like, oh, let's dress up like we're going to a dance club or something.
Yeah, and first of all, they'd come to the club in their outfits. They wouldn't like come and change. They'd show up in their outfits, meaning they were in their outfits the whole time, the whole way over there. They'd be like, yeah, on the way over here, somebody told me to beam them
See,
up.
that was always what made me mad is these guys never took it seriously and they thought it was a big joke. And I mean, this is something that we take very seriously, and we'd sit there and we'd watch the episodes because we've always done the same thing. We'd watch the episodes, then we'd discuss them, have the group discussion, and someone would take notes or get the minutes down,
Right.
and these guys would be like, ha ha, wasn't that cool the way Kirk kicked that guy's ass or kissed that lady? Okay, those are good, but there's so many different levels, and that's all they wanted to do.
Right,
Then.
there's a reason why he kicked that guy's ass. There's a reason why he kissed that lady. It wasn't just that he wanted to beat somebody up. They're idiots, and And you know, as far as our costumes and stuff, we have 2 costumes really. We got one for, you know, we have the costume that we wear when we're having our meetings, and then when we go out to conventions and stuff, we have the convention costume.
Convention outfit.
Because you don't want to. I mean, for me, I don't want to speak for Graham, but for me, my costume for the club is pretty much, you know, that's my thing. That's, you know, I made it for me and the club to share only. You know?
That's why it's a club. It's a private group
Exactly.
thing, and that's why I always thought you have a uniform for the club and for all of the club functions because they're private, and then you have a convention uniform, and I don't think you break that. And
You don't wanna
the other
cross
guys
the
they
line.
couldn't.
You don't want to cross the line.
I mean, I just it still bothers me because I don't. That's not the purpose.
And I guess I heard like the guys that we kicked out, they got their own club now. And you know, we'll see them once in a while. They're like, hey, no, we're having.
And as long as they, you know, keep their fantasy tempered, they know when to take the costume off, they know when to take the makeup off. You know, that's great. But we, in our club, try to be very careful that no one sticks a knife in somebody's face. Nobody, you know, is out of order in any way, although we're still rough and we're Klingon. But you have to know, as in anything, how to temper it. Yes, I definitely feel that some people live it just too much. But, you know, who am I to judge, you know what I mean? It's like, who am I to say, you're too much and you're not enough? Because each person has their own needs. Each person has their own personality needs. So who am I to judge somebody's fun or fantasy?
I didn't think it was taking it too far. Well, all right. It was like one of these. Well, a woman said that she wanted to be Captain Kirk. And I got nothing with women in power and politics and stuff like that. So then she got pissed, and we exchanged a few words. And I called her a Klingon whore.
One person that he can't differentiate the reality from Star Trek from the real world. He thinks he's in the Star Trek world all the time.
But then I have to explain to the police why I punched him. You know, that's why I wish I was living in their world, not this world, because it was justified. It was a man's world. You did things and you did it. It was the law of the universe. If you had to die, you had to die. If you had to save lives, you had to save lives.
A lot of times, though, we'll usually have like a group discussion. Well, just Paul and I about what happened in the episode and what was learned by it and what messages Roddenberry was trying to get across and how it relates to the 60s and then how
it relates to today.
Exactly.
Could be, I mean, I don't have that kind of stress in my life that I have to go running around pretending to shoot people, but, you know, I just would rather see something like this than joining a gang and having to pick up a gun to feel a family atmosphere. And most of us are very much family, and we get along, and there's a camaraderie here. You can walk up to somebody and not be afraid that they're going to shoot you. I mean, on the street, I don't dare walk up to my neighbor, but here I can walk up to anybody in a convention and say, hi, how you doing? You're a fellow Trek fan, so we have something in common, and we usually get to be big buddies before the day's over. It's non-aggressive, and it's fun, and I think we lose a lot of fun nowadays.
Gather together about 15, 20 people, get 1 or 2 little banners and a flag, and head down to a shopping mall and just proudly proclaim, hey, we're here, we're taking over, and usually find a little restaurant inside the mall and just barge in and eat up food.
You know, and they had like a list of episodes they're watching. There was like a Next Generation episode in there, and then, you know, and the guy was like, "Bring all your SF
Deep
tapes."
Space Nine.
I was like, man, someone was gonna. I knew somebody was. You know, it's like someone was gonna bring a Lost in Space or a.
One time, this is the time that really ended it. Well, we had already kicked out Darren and John, but and the other guys left. But when Tim and Jim both brought tribbles and got into it, they thought it was fun to like a tribble fight.
You like
this
Tribbles
is a sacred prop.
Like Tribbles are gonna fight, right?
They're picking them up and throwing them, and I was like, well, what are you doing? And they walked. They were joking with people on the way to in their costumes.
Yeah. And I was like, well, that's cool. They're bringing Tribbles. We can do that episode. We'll do the Tribble episode. That's real cool. But then
not a toy.
Where they're making them fight each other. I was like, man,
okay, haha.
And that was really the last straw for them. That's when it became just us.
Well, I've dressed up as, like I said, the Federation style before, and that's not any fun for me because you're just the same as everybody else walking around. But when I put this on, I don't have to be Steve anymore. I can be Kahless, the Emperor. I normally dress as a classic Klingon, so I can be Korax, the first officer. It just gives me a little bit more freedom just to act like a big kid.
I like their way of thinking, their ability of honor, how they treat it. It's similar to the way the samurais were of medieval Japan.
And what do you mean by way of thinking?
They are very, like I said, very honorable culture. They basically are of honor and duty. They are constantly, whenever they go for something, they do not stop halfway. They go until whatever they want to accomplish is done.
And do you try to work that into your own daily life?
Yes, I do. I actually try to do that because I work as a security guard and I am having to do that every day.
I like their strength and the fact that the women are strong. You know, they don't walk one step behind the guys, that they're equal in their culture. I like the fact that they can get a little rowdy, which unfortunately we can't get rowdy here. I like the fact of, most of all, is their honor. I like the fact that if they tell you they're going to do something, they do it face to face. They're not going to walk up behind you and lie to you and stab you in the back. And that's something that I think attracted me more than anything, was the fact that even though they're bold, they're aggressive, and in our terms, very human terms, they're very evil, bad, as we think of it. But they're not. If you really study the culture and read some of the things that are written and look at the show, they're not. They're just a strong warrior culture, and they have a lot of honor. They will, if they're going to kill you, they're going to say, I'm going to kill you, and they attack you and give you full ability to protect yourself. And if you kill them, then I just think they're an honorable people, as well as they have a little more aggressive, and you can get out there and kind of yell and scream and drink and do things where you couldn't normally do it in society, and you can be in costume and have a good time.
Federation is, let's face it, rather boring and plain. How can you like a race that goes around wearing nothing but pajamas? You know, that's a different aspect, a little bit of the Japanese feudal society.
Where we was out of the, going out of the convention. One of them was in the hotel. We went to get into the elevator. We got in the elevator. We was just expecting it to go up without pressing the buttons. You know, like the turbo lifts in the Enterprise.
Yeah, the role playing. It's not like, you know, we bought the Star Trek role playing game. I mean, since we know every episode by heart, and it's pretty much, I think it's kind of weak to act out episodes because that's been done. They did that. That's what you're watching on the show. They're acting out the episode. So like I said, we act out our episodes, the ones we have done.
The ones we've written, the 137 that we wrote.
And I think that's really the most important part of the meetings and of the club, because you act those, you know, you get act those things out, and I mean, you understand what those characters are feeling, man. You know, like when they beam down to a planet, they're like on a, you know, they're on a whole different planet, man. They don't know what's going on.
Well, what do you think? What goes through your head when you're on another planet? Let's explore that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, let's role play that.
What are you looking for on a plane? You don't know what to find. You don't know what you're gonna find. You don't know what it is. All you know is that maybe it's Class M, you know, and it's, you know, mostly, you know, green planet. You don't
But
know.
then again, a lot of times you sense it, and okay, there's no life form, and then like the rock comes to life.
Right, and he turns into a life form.
Or they're underground. Let's explore that. What
Yeah.
happens then? What happens when Ensign Smith gets killed?
You really get into what the characters are thinking, and I mean, you understand how really complex they are. It can get pretty intense.
James Doohan, Mark Leonard, Bruce Hyde, who played Lieutenant Riley in a couple of the original episodes, Walter Koenig, DeForest Kelly, Majel Barry Rottenberry, and in the back here I got Grace Lee Whitney and Nichelle Nichols to sign it. This right here will stay with the club for as long as the club is in operation. That's why I want it to be. I don't want the book back. I want the club to keep it.
I think the fact that it is the future, I mean, I see life as it is outside. I don't want to watch it on television, so I don't watch soap operas. I mean, I don't really care to watch something that's going on that I watch every day. So the future is something new, and it titillates my imagination. makes me think. The only problem is Trek now to me is starting to get stale. I really think they should cancel it because they're running out of ideas. They're starting to destroy a lot of the characters. You've got actors with forehead of the week, costume of the week, and there's no difference. There's no character anymore.
You want to film us role playing?
Yeah. You know, it's really not for a show. I mean, we're not doing it like to entertain.
It's kind of a serious.
Well, I guess you know they. They could, you know.
Just no costumes. We won't wear costumes, because I think that.
Right. That's right.
I don't want to get into a whole thing here on your camera time, but I think that kind of breaks.
Right.
We have kind of a sacred.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be good, and you know, and yeah, maybe you know, people watching it could probably learn something. That might be good, but
I don't think costumes are, because we have the costumes that we, and that's a club function, and we only wear those during the club, and
right.
and you're not in
understand that, right?
I think, to tell you the truth, I think I'd like to live in the world of the Star Trek world. It seems like it's a lot more simpler to live in.
Even with all the technical
advances. Mm-hmm. You got the food replicators. You don't have to worry about cooking over a stove.
This man traveled 15 orbits around Earth, 16 orbits around Earth. He has my opinion of his performance. Damn it, Spock.
Well, Captain, it would appear that now you're in charge of 485 crew members. Sulu's dead.
I just wish things would get like Star Trek. I'm kind of bored the way things are now.
Filled with some kind of half dog, half leech creature.
Well, Captain, it would appear that in this planet's inception, the two generations of animals have mated and evolved, forming one.
Sulu's just been bitten by one of the leeches. Bones, what can you do for him? Spock! Spock, what the devil's that noise?
Apparently, Captain, my tricorder has indicated that a computer robot is making the noises, and
Spock, you gotta gain control! Remember, you're half Vulcan!
Not to show emotion.
Spock!
No.
Get a hold of yourself!
Emotion. I'm not showing emotion. Thank you, Captain.
The noises, they've stopped.
My tricorder reading has indicated that the computer robot has stopped its noises.
We've got to find that robot and we've got to kill it. Just like I've killed all computers on all different kinds of planets. I've killed all the computers.
The mug I was just drinking out of is the one that you can see is the Deep Space Nine mug, which sells at Quark's Bar.
Don't. No, do. No. When in doubt, open fire.
Evasive maneuvers, Captain.
Hang on, everyone! Damage report, Sulu.
Decks 4 and 5 report damages, Captain. We've got half of our phasers. Phaser banks 1 and 2 are out. Shields are at 40%.
Scotty, I need shields at full power or you're fired.
Cannot cut around, give her all she's got if I pump her anymore, she's going to blow.
Work your miracle, Scotty.
Aye, Captain.
Sulu, evasive maneuvers, enemy ship approaching at 5 o'clock.
Evasive maneuvers, Captain.
Hang on! These damn Klingon bastards, they killed my son. Klingon bastards, they killed my son.
Klingon phasers banks, charged and ready. Firing, Captain.
Hang on!
We We've lost all shields, sir. We take one more direct hit, we're going down.
Uhura, send a message to the Klingon ship. We surrender.
Alien frequency open, Captain.
We surrender, damn it!
Klingons are not responding.
Then this is it. This is our final mission. We've boldly gone where no man has gone before. To seek out new life forms and new civilizations. To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Klingons fire, Captain.
Computer, self-destruct sequence. Alpha, alpha, alpha. 0 alpha.
Self-destruct sequence engaged. 59, 58, 57, 56.
All hands,
55,
attention.
54,
I have set the self-destruct. Klingons are boarding the ship.
51,
I suggest
50,
that everyone
49,
say their goodbyes to their loved ones.
47.
Because we won't be coming back this way again. Especially TV, you know, crap like Lost in Space and The Invaders and stuff about space travel is just crap. It's all, you know, it's all kiddie shows, it's all toys, it's all stuff that you think, well, that would never happen. With Star Trek, you could think, well, maybe there is a chance that could happen. Way, way in the future, there's a chance that could happen.
I think Roddenberry had a vision. He wasn't just some network guy trying to slop together some crappy show that the kids would like.
Yeah,
you know?
He was a true visionary, definitely. Scotty simply lost control. What's your analysis?
Well, it's apparent that this Scotsman has been drinking too much of the Scotch whiskey, and it affects the bloodstream and makes him act irrationally as most humans act.
Thing that it is. Plus, along with that, the ideas that they came up with. I mean, the idea for, you know, the communicator. You know, that's a mobile phone. People took that idea and made a mobile phone out of it. Those flip phones that you're talking to, that's a freaking communicator, man.
5, 4,
Live long and prosper.
3, 2,